If you're trying to build an API ecosystem or any consumable ecosystem, one of the things I think about is if you had to have a meeting to consume it, or you had to have a meeting to provide it, you probably screwed up. So think about how many meetings you have to have with Amazon to use S3. 0 meetings, like none. You don't have to get into a conference room with Amazon and say, this is what I want to do with S3, and I just want to walk. You just go consume it, because you know where it is, you know how you can consume it, you know what it's there for, you know those things. And you can obviously reach out to AWS, and you can have a conversation if you want to do something beyond, or if you want to engage it. You don't have to have a meeting to use a thing. So if you are building APIs, or you are building composable infrastructure, or you're building any service that you need other people to consume, or you are a consumer of that service, and you have to have a meeting first before you have to consume it, somewhere you probably went wrong. So that is either because you're not publishing it somewhere, it's not discoverable, like no one knows what the service is or where to find it or what to do. They don't know the constraints of that service, what it provides, what it's allowed to do or not allowed to do. You haven't built something that's actually consumable. And APIs that aren't consumable are of no value. So kind of think about that piece. You don't want to build an entire API ecosystem or composable ecosystem that works in the same way that the world used to work 20 years ago, in the same business process, the same meeting, the same function. You're not getting any value out of the investment. You're not getting value out of the change. So that's kind of a general metric that I talk about, a general metric I think about is how many meetings did I have to have before I could either consume it or offer it? And the closer that number is to 0, the better you probably build.
That's a good answer.
Jeremy, you reaction to it? I actually just wanted to add, from a discoverability perspective, there's 2 major ways of discoverability. Human beings, which is super important. I need to be able to go read the doc, discover, oh, this is what I can do. But there's also programmatic and systemic discoverability, introspection endpoints, things like that, that are super important, because then you can be reactive from a system side as far as being able to discover and use your APIs, versioning and so on is really super important. So all the way back to WSDL, back when some of us still use SOAP. Anybody still using SOAP? Sure, of course. Shut up. Nobody asked you, Spencer. Now you got SOAP, you got OpenAPI and Swagger, you've got GraphQL, introspection endpoints. All of those things are super important as well, which also eliminates the meetings.